What is up, everybody? Econ with Dave. All right, here we go. Triple net investor. Gonna go and put your tweet right here. Shout out to you and thank you for the information. 2 Denver office towers recently sold for $3.2 million or $3 per square feet. In 2019, they were valued for $200 million, a 98% haircut. That's when you buy the dip, everyone. That's when you go all in. That's when you tell your family, you tell them to max out everything they have and to put it into that investment, because god damn, that's going to be an incredible return. Now let's find out what's actually going on besides my fucking joking around here. Okay, so they sold at a 98% discount. They plan for a major residential conversion. First off, I don't know anything about this field. I love reading this shit, though. I love real estate. Really, though, it's how it works in it. I would prefer to be like a, overall developer before I would be an actual landlord holding, like land. But I'm a little interested, so let's find out what happens. 2 prominent skyscrapers located at 621 and 633 17th Street in downtown Denver recently sold for a stunningly low price of $3.2 million. This is a dramatic 98% decline from their estimated valuation of over $200 million. The buildings previously traded for $112 million in 2008. Highlighting the staggering depreciation on these commercial properties. So, the properties were acquired by a California-based developer. The first name is just Asher. I'm not going to say the last name because I don't know how to say it, and I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm going to go ahead and find out who this is. And if this is who I think it is, then I'm going to put their face right here. This is the owner of those. I need to double check. But anyway, so through his firm, you know what? I need to find out how to say the name. Some people will say, well, Dave, you should have done this beforehand. I'm going to say, honestly, I really don't care. And we're here to learn, and I'm here to learn, and I am going to find out right now. So it's an Italian name. Oh, there's a YouTube ad.
PronounceNames.com.
PronounceNames.com. Stupid.
Luzzati.
Luzzati. Okay, alright, awesome. Yeah, let me pause the video before it blows up. Alright, Luzzati. I apologize, I was saying that so fucking wrong. Alright, the Luzzati company, known for its ambitious real estate projects, Luzzati aims to convert these office buildings into a large residential complex featuring around 700 to 750 apartment units, primarily targeted as affordable housing. Now, this is the background and market conditions. The sale illustrates the broad crisis within the Denver commercial real estate market, exacerbated by remote work trends following the COVID-19 pandemic. Downtown Denver office vacancy rates are as high as 35%. Commercial property values have plummeted by 40 to 50% across the city from their pre-pandemic highs. Remember, when we saw that in 2019, this was expensive. A 98% discount is fucking insane. Insane. Class B and C buildings are suffering the most, rapidly losing tenants and value, contributing to their severe depreciation of properties like these towers. Experts like Jeff Peshut, a financial professor at MSU Denver, and Vivek Shah of the University of Denver have noted the unprecedented changes in commercial real estate, citing that the market is still grappling with the structural problem of workers preferring remote or hybrid environments. Now, the project details and conversion plans of Luzzati's ambitious plan is straightforward as a residential property, but a comprehensive, adaptive reuse effort. Now, they want 700 to 750 planned units, and they want to address Denver's critical shortage of 55,000 apartment units. 55,000. 750 is a drop in the bucket, but it's a great effort. And if I ever met him in real life, I'd say, you're doing God's work right now. It's genius. We need apartment buildings. I've been saying this since day one. You go back on the channel, my number one complaint in California is it is too expensive. I don't want to live in California anymore. You watching this in California probably don't want to live here anymore. And if you enjoy living it and you have the money to do so, fuck off. I don't care. California is too expensive for the average everyday person. So, with that being said, Denver is taking more of a proactive approach by letting the market play its force by allowing this gentleman to come in to make these units. Now, whether or not these are going to be expensive units, I don't know. But they're units nevertheless. And they're going to continue, hopefully, to drive more demand in that metropolitan area in those new buildings. So, the estimated redevelopment expenses are between $150 million to $200 million, making it one of the largest residential conversions west of New York City. Now, this is a mixed-use entity. The plan includes daycare, a restaurant, co-working suites, a gym, a market theater, a retail space, and a parking garage. Now, when I had thought about, because although I don't have the money, but when I thought about building, I've said, well, that makes sense. On the first level, you want businesses because that'll be able to generate revenue to cover your expenses, because the tenant and the ratio between whether or not they're going to be available and whether or not they'll have the actual price band to withstand the different prices are going to be fucking huge. And if you don't take those things into consideration, we're in big, big, big trouble. So I'm glad that they're kind of handling it a little bit. So the architecture partnership. So the Luzzatto engaged in a re-owned architecture firm like HLW and consulting firm Glesner, leveraging their expertise to identify stable buildings for conversion. It costs a lot. The amount of money this building was worth in 2019 as an office space today is only worth $2 to $3 million, because the back end is going to be what was worth it, because you got to gut it. You can't just use office plumbing for residential plumbing. There are two different things, and that's not how that works. So of course there's going to be a haircut. The people he bought it from, either it was a fire sale, they wrote it off on their taxes and got the benefit, or they did both of those things, and they have the ability on investing into the new apartment building, something that'll at least generate them money. Maybe they're not, maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know what the contract is. But what I do know is that in order to accomplish this, Luzzatto plans to creatively combine various funding sources, including private equity, potentially public funding from Downtown Denver Authority, which secured voter approval to distribute over $570 million to support residential conversions and downtown revitalization efforts. The ground leases are parts of the acquired land, presenting a financial and a logistical hurdle that Luzzatto intends to navigate carefully. Now, the impact and the vision for downtown Denver. Luzzatto views this project as a pivotal for revitalizing Denver's central business district. He intends to retain approximately 100,000 square feet for office space, while dedicating the rest to residential and retail uses. The conversion is envisioned as a vibrant mixed-use space, providing the much-needed affordable housing and injecting life back into a largely vacant downtown. By reimagining these buildings, and the project represents one of the most adaptive reuse efforts in Denver's history, fundamentally altering the urban fabric. Now, the sustainability and the practical of conversions are as follows. The 1970 and 1980 office buildings such as these are particularly suitable for residential conversion due to their structural designs, including ideal floor plates and window placements. Conversion preserves the embodied carbon within the existing structures, significantly reducing the environmental impact compared to the new ones that are constructed, saving around 50% of the construction time. That is fantastic. That to me is absolutely brilliant. And you know what? I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Now, industry professionals, on the other hand, say the following. Despite the enormous challenge and costs involved, Luzzatto and the industry experts remain optimistic about the project's viability and its positive influence on Denver's future. This project aligns closely with city goals to combat office space vacancy and provide affordable housing, as said before. Industry professionals believe the long-term transformation of office space to residential units will redefine downtown area into a mixed-use environment. Luzzatto himself anticipates that although office occupancy will never return to pre-pandemic levels, downtown Denver will ultimately benefit from this change. So with that being said, do we think that'll happen? Or is this just more Wall Street condensing itself further into these branches, taking advantage of large dips, and then focusing on getting people hooked into apartments? Because if the wealth inequality gap in our country continues to grow at the rate that it's going today, people like me are going to have to be renting apartments or houses for the rest of our lives. Having those that have that extra little cushion to be able to put that money into the market to take advantage of it will go ahead and do so. And those are the type of questions, scenarios, and ideas we have to keep in mind when we're facing these type of changes. But I would rather have someone building an apartment building and redoing a downtown city than it sitting vacant and it being rated for copper and housing homeless people who have nowhere to go. Because if we address the housing crisis and we work to get people in this stable, cheap, and affordable housing, while continuing to incentivize whether it's regular people or it's large businesses to invest more and more and more capital, driving down the actual cost for everyone else, to me, I think that's a win-win. And ultimately, at the end, it is a fundamental human right for all of us to have safe and affordable housing available alongside water and basic foods.